Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. It's a big week ahead in terms of news. We've got a stack of it. And can that affect today? Well, yes, it can, because we might just see consolidation leading through. So let's have a quick look at the news that's due out this week. Not so much today. We've got the Canadian Bank of Canada governor speaking there at 8:25 this evening. Not a lot out today. We've seen the should have seen the UK GDP out by now. Let's have a look. Update it. Let's get this week, would be good. If it's going to give me this week, let's give me last week. This week, please. There we go. Right, so, yep. Came in slightly better than expected with GDP there then. So tomorrow we've got jobs, UK jobs starting at 7 o'clock in the morning. We've got the Bank of England governor speaking at 11. Inflation, US inflation, so key at 1:30. We've then got on Wednesday UK inflation, followed by 7 a.m. then 7 p.m. we've got the Fed meeting comments and press conference coming out from that. Be interesting to see how dovish they can suddenly get. Only expected a 0.5% increase this time, so a slowdown pretty much as flagged in the rate of rate increases. They've probably front loaded it in their eyes, and that's as far as they're going to go for now, possibly. Of course, all those other numbers, inflation, etc., will make a difference to that. Then Thursday we've got we've got the ECB and the Bank of England and monetary policy for Europe. So the ECB both on the same day. So it really is a busy week, and then finishing the week with the flash services and manufacturing data. If you're not too sure what all this refers to, this data, I did over the weekend just do a recording on news, so you'll find it on the YouTube site. Right, let's get cracking and look at the markets technically. Euro dollar seems to be in a bit of a holding pattern where it is up towards these highs. We didn't quite see it break the prior high there. Actually, it looks a little bit easier now on the 4 hourlies. Just looking at what's going through here. Although we could just stall into the daily pivot. And I think that's really what will give me the bit of a clue this morning, is if it just runs into that daily pivot and starts rolling over. Well, that might be it for me. We'll have a look, and I'll look at the short side at that point. But really, the trend's all to the upside. My preference is really to be trading this to the upside, preferably. But the pound, just come back a little bit here. We've seen a little bit positive data this morning. Then again, consolidation around the highs. It looks like it's got some more scope to the upside. Things have slowed down on both the euro and the pound. And here we got this sort of quite bullish candle at the moment. It's not a completed candle, so lots of things can change. And again, bullish engulfing there, sitting on the hourly. But that. Well, that's probably like there. It's got 10 minutes to run. A push beyond that sort of level could see us running back up to Friday's highs, and the R1s would be a reasonable target. We'll just see post 8 o'clock whether I can sneak in a bit of a day trade on that, maybe. But of course, post 8 o'clock, often we see things completely change. So I keep an open mind when it's like that. But my preference is to be on the upside on these markets. US dollar yen, well, just come out to dailies there, and it's been a bit of a weird one. It hasn't come back towards its lows quite the same way as it's inverted, so it's dollar yen. So it hasn't come back, whereas the others have gone back up towards their highs. This isn't there. Consolidating there. It looks like it sort of slowed down quite a bit here. Now, it's done this sort of a little ABC, little three-wave move there. Maybe this is just a bit of a correction. We'll see if it breaks back above on this move. But for now, it looks like it could be on for its daily pivot. High probability of being hit. So it could be on, but we'll see the reaction from that. My preference again here with what we're seeing on the dailies is to be on the short side, but as I say, it has consolidated around there. I do wonder if we could just end up getting a bit trapped in. Aussie dollar's had a little bit of a pick up. It's hardly setting the world alight here. It's struggling in terms of lots of days which are sort of crossing backwards and forwards, and quite a choppy old hourly here. The data that came out on Friday there, the PPI data that came out for the US, you can see this right through all the markets, some big old moves, but they recovered shortly afterwards, most of the markets. Just looking at this here, to me, I'm just almost seeing I'm seeing a bit of a bearish flag in what's been a reasonable upside, but to me it's the weaker of the markets, weaker of the currency pairs against the US dollar, and if we start seeing things spill over, this might be the one to be in. And finally, talking about weak, US dollar CAD, it has picked up a little bit. So this is US dollar CAD. It's nowhere near its prior highs like some of the other markets. It struggled, lows in this case. It struggled to get back down there. If anything, there's quite a bit of softening through in the main. However, we are seeing a bit of a retrace. Now we've got the new weekly pivots below, which could be a bit of a target there. It may, when I say a bit of target, it might be a target for it to find some support on and reverse. Now it has been touched on the way up there. We'll see. This is the daily pivot here. Let's just come back to the weekly. Yeah, weekly. Well, it might be just a target actually on that. But the overall picture here on this 4 hour just looks like it's more bullish than bearish, more in favour of the US dollar at the moment. See what happens. Okay, that's the major currencies. Let's just run into look at oil first. We'll just look at this from a daily perspective for now. I've got the wrong one that I want. Spot crude for a moment. You can see it's really been softening. It's not really doing too much at the moment. Friday just saw more of the same. It's just looking weak at this stage. We have got a weekly pivot up above. If it does rally into that, that might be a nice short point. You can see how they react. Sometimes the price reacts so nicely off the key pivots. Just coming down the shorter time frame here, choking a little bit here, but choking, I don't know, maybe it's got more downside. If it breaks the upside, I'll just leave it, but I'm sort of looking at that downside potential down towards the lows, the S1, and maybe more. Still looking on the softer side of things. Looking at gold, we'll just have a look at gold. So gold, let's get the dailies, that's all I really need here. Gold, again, it's a bit more like the euro, etc. It's just not quite pitched into its previous high there. Choking a bit this morning though, compared to the other markets. It's had an immediate flash sale. Well, I say a flash sale, but quite a big sale there at well, what is it? 11 o'clock. Yesterday, last night's bar, but we start from 10 on the day, so it's sort of giving us that downward movement at the moment. Looking at this time frame here, this is the hourly time frame, and well, again, I don't think it's quite caught the daily pivot there, so any bullishness could see us running over there. If we don't, and it starts reversing back, it could be on right the way down towards its 200 S1 area. It's certainly looking on the sort of iffy side for me. It looks okay on the dailies, it just looks a bit iffy on the shorter time frame. Okay, that is pretty much it there. Let's a quick look at the indices themselves. Let's just get the dailies up on this, make sure I'm on dailies. Yeah, I am. So the CSI 300 slipping a bit, but the general trend of that still pretty positive. The Nikkei still a mess. It looks like it's trying. Friday it looks like it was trying. It's put this sort of pivot swing in. but today, well, gap down a little bit inside day at the moment, not really giving me too much of a clue whether these are going to continue, or I think they're more likely to react towards the once we've seen the Fed rate out, etc. The Nifty 50 again, still it's gapped down a little bit and pushed up, pulled back up. Bull flag sort of territory, still waiting to see if it starts pushing back to the upside. It's been running strong. Are we going to get Santa Claus rally through these markets? Got a bit of time yet, haven't we? Got 2 full weeks. So before we see the movement there, just checking. I've got a daily here. Yep, it's all right. Daily picture of the S&Ps futures. Well, again, this one's consolidating. Instead of getting a good shove up there and getting a move on, it's consolidating a bit here. Friday didn't really help things too much, and it sort of saw us heading south a little bit. And looking at the whole wave formation here, we could have a bit of a continuation to that downside. My preference is to be more long than short, but may have to just be patient. Wait for the timing there. Again, bull flag on the Dow. In fact, the Dow looks cleaner than the S&Ps there, and it's off a bit at the moment, but and it's almost got a bearish engulf in there, which would be effectively a continuation pattern in the downward move here. But we'll see how it develops. It's into its 34 at the moment, of trying to get a bit of a bounce off that. What is normally the weaker market, the Nasdaq, I say well normally, but currently the weaker market, the Nasdaq, not really performing too much either way. If anything, if you come down the time frames, it's sitting in sort of bare flaggy sort of territory and looking a bit soft and sorry for itself. Be nicer if it got back into its daily pivot and looked sorry for itself. Okay, almost finally, the DAX. Well, the DAX, it's rolled back a bit from this top it put in here. It's rolled back. It's not looking the best at the moment. It's really, to me, in this sort of overall picture, could be still bear flag territory. A change of my mind there would be a break of the high here, this intermediate high. So that would give us a higher low, and I'll be more bullish again on it. It could just be an ABC correction, but the way it's looking, I'm just wondering whether it's going to roll over for a bit more of a sell before it does any bouncing. And the FTSE here, again, lower highs, lower lows on this shorter time frame. Let me just go to dailies. It is into its monthly pivot there, and looking like it's getting a bit of a bounce. But overall, it looks a bit softish in this sort of intermediate time frames and shorter time frames. But bull flags still sitting there on the bigger time frame. So just really, it's whether it starts reacting, starts seeing some buying coming in. Quite an easy one to put a trend line across the highs somewhere. Not particularly best picture, but there we are. So it's got a way to go there. Right, and finally, let's just have a quick look for those that like to keep an eye on the crypto. As it's a Monday, I'll have a look at it. As I said, I won't be looking at this so frequently. So, well, that's why. It's just really the belief is not there, is it? All the a lot of the currencies have been pushing up. They're near the previous highs, and these are just sitting there low. And Litecoin being a bit of the exception. The rest of these markets are sitting around their lows and looking soft, and even Ripple, really in the bigger scheme of things, still looking sad and soft and weak. So there we go. That's the cryptos for today, and that's the markets for this today. But as I said, we've got a lot coming out there. Make sure you watch the video on news if you're not too sure what news is important, and it will give you a bit better pointer and what we'll be looking at this week. Have a great one, and I'll catch you. I'll catch you on tomorrow morning. Bye for now.